Carol Westfield, A History of Hate Speech Law in America. According to the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The freedom of expression part of the amendment includes protection for spoken word and nonverbal message symbols such as signs or swastikas against government censorship or interference. Challenges to the First Amendment expression are usually involving hate speech issues. Even though it's offensive, it is protected by law. You will find that over the years, the First Amendment has evolved from limiting speech to protecting most of it. Hate speech laws begin with the Espionage and Sedition Acts of 1917 and 1918. These acts try to limit hate speech against the government. In 1919, Schleswig v. United States Supreme Court Justice Holmes ruled that Congress could step in when hate speech was used and presented a clear and present danger that Congress had the right to prevent. Justice Holmes also ruled that not all speech was protected, such as shouting fire in a crowded place. Also in 1990, Abrams v. United States, Holmes stated that someone should logically expect to be persecuted for the expression of their opinions. In 1942, Chemerinsky v. New Hampshire became known as the Fighting Words Doctrine. This case explained how words that angered others can be a violation of the First Amendment. Justice Frank Murphy upheld the conviction of a foul-mouthed Jehovah's Witness, Walter Chemerinsky. His ruling divided speech into two categories, worthwhile and worthless. In 1949, Terminello v. Chicago tried to limit the scope of the Fighting Word Doctrine. Although convicted of inciting a riot through hate speech, Terminello's case was overturned by the Supreme Court. Justice Douglas said that the function of free speech is to invite dispute. It may indeed best serve its high purpose when it induces a condition of unrest, creates dissatisfaction with conditions as they are, or even stirs people to anger. In 1969, Brandenburg v. Ohio, the Supreme Court ruled that making doctrines which taught hate and violence illegal was a violation of the First Amendment. In 1971, Cohen v. California, the Supreme Court ruled that shocking words that were classified as conduct were also protected. In 1989, Doe v. University of Michigan, the Supreme Court ruled that the university's policy, which obviously limited students' rights to free speech, was unconstitutional. And in 1992, R.A.V. v. St. Paul, the Supreme Court ruled that people had the right to burn crosses, although it was known to arouse anger, alarm, or resentment in others. As you can see, from 1919 to the present, Americans have agreed that free speech and the First Amendment is very important. However, they differ on the contents. Eventually, as more hate speech is challenged, perhaps Americans will be closer to accepting the fact that all speech should be protected. As a nation built on the foundation of freedom, we cannot afford to have this right interpreted, restricted, or withheld. Thank you.